fabulous and fantastic. This is a great example of a terrific property that is maybe the wrong asset class of the moment.
What is the implied rent per square foot to make a $58 million purchase price make sense here?
Since 2016, the owners have put $36 million into the property, into this 2-acre thing, and now it's totally vacant. Wow.
This kind of thing is super rare. Having this amount of property in this condition in West Los Angeles, fantastic.
It doesn't strike me as a site that would redevelop into anything else.
Well, you end up with just more cost on top of the existing bases.
The vibes here are super high. It's a very, very cool location.
Welcome to Real Estate Anonymous. Today, Eric brought a fascinating deal located in Venice, California. We took it all kinds of places. Myself, Michael Girdley, Elliot, and Eric. We went through, talked about this deal. It's a former Snapchat world headquarters located in California, and it's listed for the very reasonable price of $55 million, which seems kind of crazy, but it turned out when we dug into it, it's not that crazy. And you could do all kinds of interesting stuff with this particular property. Everything from using it as a social media hub where you can make fun of Toledo to keeping it as an office and finding a corporate user for it. So we had a ton of fun with this one, and hope you enjoy the episode as much as we enjoyed making it. Here it is. Today's podcast sponsor is RE Cost Seg, the premier provider of cost segregation studies founded by my friend Mitchell Baldridge. Are hefty tax bills eating into your real estate income? RE Cost Seg can help you save significantly on taxes and increase cash flow. Their expert engineers uncover opportunities for accelerated depreciation, delivering accelerated tax savings and valuable insights. With over $225 million in tax savings for clients, they're here to support investors of all levels and sizes. Visit RE Cost Seg, RECOSTSEG.com/REA pod for a free proposal and start saving today.
Okay, guys,
Can we start with, how do you find all these weird deals, Eric? Like, what is there like some weird site like
onlyproperties.com? Sort of a magnet I have attached to my head of if you've got the bizarre and expensive, I'm usually interested. So somehow this one ended up in the inbox.
This seems to tick bizarre and
it's kind of that,
already.
I don't know if you guys have heard of it. There's this like rule on the internet that if you can imagine some weird thing that somebody's into, like some weird sexual thing or whatever, somebody is definitely into it. And so we found the guy who's into weird stuff real estate wise. So congratulations, Eric.
Yeah, I know. Right. That was my first thought looking at this, was like, what does your day-to-day look like that this kind of shit darkens your door? Because I don't see these kinds of listings. I wish I did.
Affordable housing, you'd probably find some friends to do that. Okay, so we'll get into this, but this is one of the fun ones where we have a video that we can go through. But this is actually, it was the former Snapchat headquarters in Venice Beach, just off of Abbot Kinney. The 51,000 square feet on 2 acres, originally built in 1977, renovated a couple of times, and it is for sale, available at $58 million for a total of 51,474 square feet. Creative office in Los Angeles, California. Let's dial in and see what the video looks like, and we'll go from there.
We're talking $29 million.
You put it that way.
Well, let's not get all caught up in price.
Right?
Here. Let's just watch the video.
I mean, I'm not that good at math, but that's my first thought. Okay. All right, let's see it. Let's see some weird shit. A Weatherholt special.
Creative office.
So it's a campus. with a bunch of little random buildings, it looks like. And you could, well, it has parking. Oh, this is like the most LA thing ever. All it's missing. When are they going to show us the kombucha fountain next? An auditorium and a theater, state-of-the-art technology in it, EV charging stations.
Yeah, that tracks.
This is kind of what I imagine if you're going to start a company that just makes like YouTube videos, what your office would look like in LA. Digital media is something. Lots of sunlight, hard surfaces, only architecture that only functions if it's 65 degrees and sunny every single day outside.
And it's absolutely perfect for Southern California. Okay, so a little bit of background. This is I don't know. It's completely fabulous and fantastic. This is across from an Erewhon grocery store. I don't know if you guys know Erewhon, but if you, it is the most preposterous store that you've ever been to. A grocery store. They've got a handful of them in LA. And like if you thought of, oh, hey, there's a cup of blueberries, what would be the absolute most that you could, with a straight face, charge for them? And then you take that number and multiply it by 7. That's what Erewhon is. And so you can, it's nothing more entertaining than walking around Erewhon, looking at the people and looking at the prices. So it's, that is, to give you a sense of it, that's across the street. You're down the road from, maybe the only negative is you're across Venice Boulevard from Abbot Kinney, but Abbot Kinney is sort of this, Cuisinart of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Abbot Kinney's a cool space. It's a cool spot.
Yeah.
Lots of cool shops.
A lot of vibe on Abbot Kinney. It's you've got Venice Beach, which is, got its challenges of the moment, but this is a great example of a terrific property that is maybe the wrong asset class of the moment. This actually is also our pal Chris Powers's. I can't imagine this. This is the opus that he would love to see with every, Class B warehouse that he has being converted into something this spectacular. So, you've got to have a pretty big appetite to buy vacant office space anywhere. But if one were to do that, just off of Abbot Kinney, single story space like this would be kind of at the top of the list.
And it's
what do you think,
listed...
Girdley? We could put a fireworks store in here.
Yeah, I wish it would do well. Even if you sold fireworks there, I don't know if you could make the cap rate work at 55 million.
Yeah, so that's my first question is what is the implied rent per square foot to make a $58 million purchase price make sense here?
This is one of those that you can't. The only way you make money on this is you've got a mole in the real estate department at some tech company or Anduril or somebody. This would be perfect for what was the Stark Industries? Get Robert Downey Jr. to do his Iron Man headquarters here, but you need. This is the kind of deal that if you had, let's just say, Anduril or Facebook or somebody like that in your pocket, they needed office space. You work out a lease prior to closing, make a $70 kind of rent deal, and then sign a 10-year lease and sell it as soon as they've moved in. That's how this kind of deal works. One, or it's or that company goes direct and buys it. If Google were looking for more space in the area, et cetera. But at this kind of basis, that's a tough nut unless you're just a super ambitious rich person looking to own a piece of Southern California.
That sounds like
It
you,
says
man.
here in the So
Super
it looks
super
like this
ambitious
was
rich
originally
person.
built in 1977 and 87, back when before Southern California ran out of space or the desire to actually build things. And so this was probably originally, it looks like contractor garages. I mean, it might have been like a tire shop with a bunch of, you know,
Yeah,
that
it kind
looks.
of has a lumberyard vibe to it, but yeah.
Oh,
you're
there you
right.
go. Yeah, so it might have been that. And then it says here since 2016, the owners have put $36 million into the property. $35 million, sorry. It's a very important difference. Into this 2-acre thing, and now it's totally vacant. Wow.
Yeah, so the big thing in Southern California for old buildings is the seismic is always a concern. So odds are that's all been fixed, and you don't have to go back and do a bunch of structural repairs. I think this kind of building, having parking, I don't know if you saw in the video, but they've got those lift parking systems where you can kind of a mechanical deal that folds down and you can pull a second car on top of another one.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So it's a specific use, but these buildings they reference the idea that these could be condoed off and sold individually in 4 or 5 parcels. You could convert the use. A lot of things you could do, but you've got to end up back at a number that's probably and I think it's highly priced as it should be. It's fully priced, let's say. This kind of thing is super rare. Having this amount of property in this condition in West Los Angeles, fantastic. But this is the kind of thing where there is a potential of a specific buyer that this fits their needs, and they'll take it down as sort of an infill corporate campus, and that's what it was built to be, and path of least resistance going forward.
Yeah, it doesn't strike me as a site that would redevelop into anything else.
Well, you end
easily.
up with just more cost on top of the existing basis. Yeah, so you end up
on top of the basis.
Split something like this up. Maybe there's another $200 a square foot, $300 a square foot, $400 a square foot. But
right. So now your purchase price is almost $1,500. Your total basis would be $1,500 a square foot.
If there's a place you want to do it, this is not far from it. But this is not for the faint of heart.
So is there a guy out there who his real job is he kind of has connections with the real estate arm of one of these large companies? The way guys sort of merchant build Starbucks, they go find a site because they know what Starbucks is looking for and they merchant build it. There's got to be guys out there who they have a pulse on. Hey, these 10 tech companies have expressed an interest in, 30 to 60,000 square feet of corporate space in these kinds of markets. If I can tie it up, I know they'll take it. Is that? I don't know that world. Is that a viable position?
This is the world of the local warlord that has some knows a gal who knows a guy who knows a gal, and has that lease. So that's I think the play here is you've got to have that sort of somebody in your back pocket to make this kind of a deal work. Because even if you were to pay their price, to get anything done still takes, even with a motivated lessee, could still take you a year or more to get that kind of a transaction. Yeah, I know.
Really?
It's always
take that long for something like that with a corporate
renting
tenant?
an apartment. You think in terms of days or weeks. Turning over these commercial spaces can take forever.
Jesus.
And you've got there's always the crazy California thing that you're not, as a buyer, that you don't yet know of some new rule that would prevent this building from being used in the way that you thought. So there's always, always hanging out there of doing business in California is a little bit of crazy. Yeah.
The state of California.
That's why we love it. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Part of doing business in California is the unknown of doing business in the state of California. No.
But I think, terrific location. I have a hard time saying something bad about it other than the obvious, the price, but it's really just because you don't have anybody in tow. And I think it's perfectly plausible that you could pay this with the right tenant.
Yeah, that's a super cool location. I think most people know, but that corner of Venice and Abbot Kinney is this street that's, they're selling selvage jeans and mustache wax and $10 cups of coffee and, like really funky shirts, and there's art studios, and there's these weird kind of independent bookstores, and it's super cool. And I always joke around on Twitter about it. I don't give a shit if the numbers make sense, if the vibes are high. The vibes here are super high. It's a very, very cool location. Yeah. And you could see the vibes are immaculate. And you could certainly see some group, just saying, fuck yeah, brah. And they buy this place. And
I feel
so
attacked because
tenant,
my wife and I have gone and rented Airbnbs right there for all the reasons you just said multiple times. Like, hey, dear, let's fly out to LA and have a weekend and pretend to be bougie before we go back to San Antonio.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So you've got like kind of an ironic hat and $900 sundlasses, and you go to Intelligentsia and get yourself a $10 cup of coffee, and you're like, I'm Michael. San Antonio is better than this.
I end up coming back.
You've done all those things. You said to your wife, as you're sitting there in perfect weather and just been like, I don't know. I still can't wait to get home. It's like, that's bullshit. Of course it's not true.
I always end up coming back
there
with a $90 like baseball cap. Like, this is like that's just way too hip.
Yeah, for sure.
So the one, if I could tell an interesting,
and it says like Jimmy's Tire Shop.
The most fascinating thing I love about going to here is Venice Beach, and like I think it's Venice Beach and Santa Monica, they intersect, and neither one of the two cities allows you to camp overnight on the beach. So what the homeless have figured out is if they just sleep right on the border where the cities switch, neither city will mess with them. So there's like this whole line of tents right near here on the beach of homeless that are sleeping on the beach, but they do it right on the border of the two cities because neither one will mess with them because they just move 6 inches to the other one if the cops show up. So anyway, yeah,
and no city wants
totally
to deal
not
with the
relevant
paperwork,
to this
so
deal, but it also just kind of explains how
good.
crazy that's a microcosm to me of how crazy California rules are on some of this stuff.
What I love about the Venice and Santa Monica deal is that I don't know that they hate each other, but the Venice crowd and the Santa Monica crowd have very few shared interests. There's just like a completely different kind of vibe. And as soon as you cross over, it's like you've entered a different country.
My uncle is a former colonel in the military. He worked on Star Wars, like the lasers that were going to shoot down the ICBMs. And he's a delightful human being, but he lives down south of here, of what we're talking about in Venice. And he, my wife and I fly out there and we'll go do the tourist hipster thing and stay in Santa Monica for the weekend. And then we'll go have lunch with him and his wife. And he'll be like, oh, you're staying in the People's Republic of Santa Monica, huh? That's what he thinks it's way.
Yeah. And you're like, what the hell, man?
I was
it's
like,
nice
it's fine.
here.
I didn't know I was a communist because I went to Santa Monica.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I lived out there for a stretch on Pacific and Westminster, in like the heart of Venice Beach, and it was a wild place. A wild.
Eric, I'm sorry, we got you off your deal with our story. So
well, this just in, just to sort of put in context, the Abbot Kinney is from reporting in from a pal on the ground. It's as hot as ever over there. So average retail rents across the street on Abbot Kinney. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, can we guess?
No. Yeah.
Can Michael and I guess?
Per square foot.
Average retail rent per square foot. I'm going to say 145.
I'll go 146. Price is right.
Showcase Showdown says 180 to 220.
Jesus.
Also, Michael wins.
So,
this is horse shit.
Yeah,
185.
So 1,000 square
Wow.
foot shop, 200 grand a year, goes to the happy landlord.
Unreal.
So what about office? Because our funky little space is not going to count.
There's probably some basis for that.
Retail,
you're across the
right?
street, but you're across Venice. There's a big chasm there. But you're across from Erewhon, and having
Sure.
if you were at, having that sort of enclosed, almost compound vibe to it, I think it's not out of the question that you could create a retail experience there. You're not going to be at, the $200 street rents, but there's a if it was 50 or 60, yeah, for sure.
All right, but let's say you're 150 or 160. Do you think that's
I think
workable?
it'd be a stretch to get in the triple digits there for retail. But I do think that creates sort of a floor. That there's a lot of floors around this kind of a property. You're going to rent it to somebody for something in any market, and you're going to rent it for a lot. So, but let's just say on office space, I can't imagine leasing this for less than $50 a foot. So, 50,000 square feet.
So,
$2.5 million a year that you're gonna net of expenses. So, you've got a baseline that's not preposterous.
yeah, if those really are the rents, and you've got 51,000, I think 51,474 is what the rents are, or the square footage, and you've got someone who's going to pay $60 a foot at a 5.5 cap, you're close to the purchase price. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to go right in that scenario, of course, but it seems for California a little more tethered to reality than I would have expected.
Yeah, it's around the corner from ridiculous, but yes.
Yeah.
Girdley's shaking his head.
Man, I think it's a cool space.
No, I'm stuck in La La Land that I want to move out there, buy this for $5 million, and like recruit all my friends to come in there and like record YouTube videos that nobody watches.
That's what it could be. Dream. Girdley worldwide. I love it.
Yeah, right. Oh God, could you imagine this dystopian little 700 little cubes with selfie cameras and people doing their own YouTube?
You could wear like a white.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a Girdley and a white tunic walking around.
I mean, the way I could really afford this is I need to start a cult. Yeah. I mean, that's just the path forward. That's the only. Yeah. Me.
Oh my God.
If anybody's interested, I am taking applicants for my cult.
Just a sea of OnlyFans models and Michael walking around.
That was the first thing I thought about. There's when they say creator and stuff like this. If this had been in the San Fernando Valley, I would have been like, oh, I know what they're creating in there.
I know what this is.
There was back in the day, and I don't know if it's still there, but there was like a former prison in San Francisco when I lived there. Are you guys familiar with what I'm talking about? There was they had a former jail that had been converted into like an adult video production complex, but they specialize specifically in S&M stuff. So it was just all that kind of whips and chains type thing, and it was just this.
No kidding.
This was a real thing back in the 2000s when they used to do that in San Francisco more than they do now. But that was where my head initially went on this was like, oh, is this what I think it is? And it doesn't seem like it is. So.
Well, there's always that option, and I think optionality is the important thing there.
There's there's always been, Eric, you'd make a stellar broker. I'd love to go on the tour of this building, but corporate headquarters is going to be this. And here's an idea. You just bring in like 800 dominatrix and they'll beat up middle-aged white men and pay you a fortune in rent.
Makes
It's like,
sense.
oh,
Yeah,
all right.
I got it. Okay.
It's a good backup plan. Yeah. Yeah. Suppose
Okay,
we could
so
all.
we're not. So that is an option. Fireworks are potentially an option, but it is. I always do go through this exercise of like, okay, you have to buy it. You know nothing more than we know. We can agree. Cool location. You got to come up with a big stack of cash, and that's fine. But I think you were kind of going down this road earlier, Elliot. But if you just set a baseline of $50 a foot, 50,000 square feet ish, because there's going to be some common space in there. Call it $2.5 million, and if you could, sort of put a 7% ish kind of return on something like that, my math gets to 35 million. And you're not gonna. You couldn't say that with a straight face, I don't think. But that to me is where knowing nothing more, not having your brother-in-law in your pocket, who's the real estate director at Facebook, that's kind of the range that I'd think you could get comfortable with this.
Yeah, I think, and maybe you'd said it on our last episode, that all business is either bundling or unbundling. And so I think you look at, so here's how I would look at this is I would look at this and I think, I don't know enough. I don't have one tenant who's going to take all 50,000 square feet. So I'm going to chop it up a little bit and I'm going to try and get this $50 to $60 a foot rent. And almost, I hate to say a covered land play, but you look at it as like, okay, a super safe, but not very attractive return, with the upside being that you stumble upon one of those bulk users and you can then go, oh, all right, we can, at the end of these lease terms, you keep people on shorter term leases, 3 years with 2 1-year options or whatever it is. And you leave yourself that back end optionality to bring in a big single user. Because unless you know them, and you and I don't, betting on that to happen seems thin, right?
I think that's the kind of thing, and you do have that option, but again, that costs money, splitting spaces and the cost with the mechanical and all that, and it's tough pill to swallow when you have such pristine buildings that exist. But yeah, I think that's if you were forced to take it as it sits, that's how you'd have to attack it. Gurley, what do you think?
So I use Google, which is usually not a good sign of where the podcast is going, but I looked up M1-1 zoning in Venice, and it got me thinking, if they're able to get for retail a block or two away on Abbot Kinney, they're getting whatever we talked about, $180 a square foot. Like, this deal starts to get much more interesting if you could start to do retail at $100 a square foot here. And it looks like, at my first look of the M1, which is their industrial zoning, like you could do, restaurants are permitted. Some of the other commercial uses are allowed. Business offices obviously are allowed. So it made me wonder, like, do you go in here and not just do office?
That's a good question. And Eric, I've always wanted to know this, and you probably know, what is the sort of percentage discount from, you've got premium first floor retail, and then you have retail around the corner, or you have second floor retail or whatever. How steep is the drop from the premier to the secondary retail space? Because I imagine the walkability, you get millions of people in Abbot Kinney, and you might get 10% of that hanging right around the corner. How do those rents trend?
A lot of times, if you see, the second floor or around the corner seems to sort of trade as office space. So, a second floor might be, it might be, $30 or $40, whatever the market office rate is, and around the corner is that. There's also sometimes if you can create this, air of exclusivity and have the super stealthy place that is around the corner. So for example, this is with with the gate. We'll get real weird now, but with the gate, you create, make this the Chanel and Hermes outpost for their new graffiti brand that they're coming up with, or something like that, where it's the advantage is it's not having the frontage, and there's plenty of examples of that. But yeah, I think the other challenge that you have with these things is in markets like Los Angeles and here, I would assume you've got a parking problem. And so once you change to retail, you're going to have to double or triple the parking requirement that's there, which means you're going to have to cut your space probably in half. So instead of 50,000 square feet of rentable space, you could maybe rent 25,000 of it. Something like that. And if you wanted to put a groovy restaurant in, that probably shrinks it even further. So you end up with less space to lease without some sort of special dispensation from the municipality. But all that to be said, you have options and things to work on with a property like this. You're not, this same building in Toledo, you don't have this kind of options. And that's what always gets me excited about this.
Toledo.
Why you got to ruin the podcast by talking about Ohio?
Wait, we opted for this over Michigan anyway, for good reason.
The thing that's so incredible to me is that every day someone in Toledo with some semblance of disposable income wakes up and thinks, this is fine. I'll just fucking stay in Toledo. And I've never been able, I joke about starting a charity that sends U-Hauls with a full tank of gas to random Ohio neighborhoods just so those poor sons of bitches can move. Like, you have an option. You could go somewhere else. And yet Toledo somehow has residents. Sorry
just lost
to the one listener from Toledo.
Toledo listeners
just got canceled.
Dave and his wife do not like this podcast. 1 star. This was fun, gents. I've probably got a jet soon. I got to get to the property. So if you guys want to keep going without me, cool. If you want to
let's wrap
it up, we can wrap it up.
I don't have anything else marginally intelligent to say about this one. It's a really cool one. Nice job, Eric.
Great.
Yeah, this was fun. That's a good deal.
All right.